So this is part two, and we're going to be finding the length of the train track. I guess I should word that differently. Let's start by selecting the landscape, hitting H to hide that. And let me turn on my key button stroke so you can see that. Obviously you can't turn that on. Let's select and hide the train tracks, leaving just the path. So select the path, and then Shift D the duplicate, Z to move up this copy. Now that we have this copy, we're going to hit Shift S and move the cursor to the selected. Long story short, we have to do a little bit of work to find the length of this, where we started with a mesh and then turned it into a curve, and it's not too hard. So step one, we're going to add a mesh cube, and that is floating in the center of our second track. Select the cube, change the dimensions to 1, and then press Ctrl A to apply the scale. Now with the cube selected, go to the Properties panel. We're going to add two modifiers. First, the array, and I'll click the arrow to condense that. Second, the curve. We want it to curve along our second track. I'm going to go into wireframe by hitting Z, and that will allow me to see each individual cube. Now, let's open the array, and I want to increase this number by left-clicking and dragging to extend this all the way around the track as close as I can to completing. There we go. Excuse me. So it takes 435 of these, just a little bit past 435, to get from point A to point B, the start and the end. So if each of these are 1, then it's 435 units. Now, I am going to look at this distance by hitting 7 on the number pad and looking at it from the top. So half of this cube will be 0.5. Cutting a half in half would be 0.25. So I feel like a fourth of this would fit roughly in there. If you have about half of one or 3/4 of one, you can kind of estimate that or ask me if you need help. But you don't have to be super precise on this last part, but kind of get close. So my length is 435 plus this little bit, 0.25. Now that I know that, let's go down to our control object. I hit number pad 0 to jump to the camera so I could see it. I'm going to select that. The track length is 435.25. If you have trouble with this part, let me know and I'll come by and help you. But once you have the track length entered in, so I've got the empty cube selected, a track length, and I put that value into that. Once you have that, you can then delete your extra track and the extra cube. Hit Alt H to unhide everything. And last, we'll hit Z to change it back to solid view. In the next video, we will deal with finding the wheel's diameter and probably combine the wheel's radius and circumference and do those three together.